Hello, my fabulous humans. Lekai, dumelang. Welcome to Mail Say. What day is it, Kata, today? I'm trying to remember what day is it. It's a Tuesday. Yes, it's a Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Mail Say, a space where men speak. My name is Makabelo Mutaung, also known as Coach KB. I am a social and dating coach and your host for this feature. Today, I am talking to Sechaba Taunyane. He is blind. I'm allowed to say you are blind. You are blind, I get.
Definitely, Meru. Definitely, Osmakabelo.
Sechaba, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Osmakabelo, for the opportunity. As Mimam Taung has said, my name is Sechaba Taunyane. I'm a blind guy. I work for a state-owned entity. It's a water utility. Um, I'm over 45 years, so I'm old.
Hey,
As you
what's
can
up, face
see, as you can see, my gray
Gray
hair,
hair.
gray
I know
beard.
we see it. We see it. It's Udile.
Yeah, I'm a graduate from the University of the Witwatersrand, Wits University, as some of you would know it. I've obtained three qualifications from that institution: the Bachelor of Arts, the equivalent honors, a postgraduate diploma in management, and I've also obtained my certificate there. What do you call it? The MAP Management Advancement Certificate at the Wits Business School.
Right. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm currently working in the Human Resource Department of a state-owned entity. I'm dealing with the employment equity, basically ensuring the company it's on top in terms of employment equity, employing people with disabilities,
Mm.
employing females, and blacks, Africans, colored, and Indians. So yeah, that's who I am. I deal with stats, a little bit of stats, a little bit of making sure that employees understand what employment equity is all about, and so forth and so forth.
Mm. And you are married. You're a
Oh
father.
yes, yeah, yes. I'm married to
Di tourisa.
personal life. Okay, yeah, I'm married to a very beautiful lady. She's in the kitchen. I don't know if she wants to come. Nah, she doesn't want to show her face, but she's around here.
Makamdumedisa
Uh,
mwali.
Baudumedisa Mema Taunyane. She's keeping quiet. She can hear me. Yeah, with
Mm,
two boys. My other boy is staying with a mom called Eastern Cape, and I'm staying
okay.
with the other one here. So yeah, but I'm married to a sighted lady for that matter. She can see. She's not
Mm,
blind as me.
mm.
Yeah.
So, I would this Chaba today ribuat about some jolo relationships, and but we're talking about it from a perspective of disability. And one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I wanted to bring you on board for this is that we barely have the capacity to talk about, not the capacity. It's almost like we tiptoe around the subject of disability in relationships. And I wanted to bring
Yes.
somebody matured enough to discuss this with us. And I know you're very open minded, but very matured as well. One of the fears, though, that I had, I must say, was the fear of sounding or coming across as politically incorrect or insensitive. So I tiptoed around the issue a bit because I didn't want to be mutu or sound anghan. But it's the reality that we have people who are disabled in our communities. We have people who are blind, such as yourself, or in a wheelchair
Mm,
and whatever else. And we need to somehow integrate our worlds together, be able to date, be able to function. So maybe
mm.
tell us a bit of your story. Makalong Awujola, how like when did you start dating and what was the experience for you?
I was Magabel. People with disabilities are people before disability. That's what
That's
I
the
normally
first
tell.
correction. Okay.
Yes, that's what I normally tell everybody, that as people with disabilities, we are people before disability. So that means
Mm,
we have feelings. We can get hurt, we can love, we
mm,
can appreciate. So for me, I started dating as far back as Kilokos Kolong. I attended a school for blind people, by the way.
okay.
I was in Limpopo. It's a school for blind people. It's known as Silver School for the Blind.
Okay.
It's a Roman Catholic school. I attended from grade 1 to grade 12. As you can see with my age, I mean, we are some of those people, Balhori. We attended school during
Western
apartheid, during,
Dom.
yeah, from grade, not from grade standard, sub A, dom dom. That's late, you know? Yeah, when we used to attend, it's already late and all that. I attended the school for blind people. We learned Braille there. And in our school, we were separated because we had boys and girls, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, we were separated in terms of the gender, mainly for, I guess, for being correct, because you can't have boys and girls staying in a hostel. By the way, it was a nearly hostel,
Yeah.
where it was a boarding school. So we had to stay
Mm.
in a hostel. And so we were separated, girls and boys attending different, well, we attended same classes, but our sitting arrangement was different because boys had to be separate from girls, you know?
Eh. Ke
Yeah,
ne le use
so,
excuse ya ga le bone gore le tshware banana o so ga ka bona ka tlo tshwara skete.
and the teachers will tell us, hey, don't go around touching girls, you boys. Otherwise, you'll get a lot. Never sharp. I know they'll tell, hey, really sharper. Don't
Yeah.
try and be naughty there, you know. So, but I did date from that age. I mean, probably at age around 14, 15, there were girls. We used the letter, never somebody said the letters.
Yes, yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm from that age where you
O
take a
ngola
letter.
lengolo, o shela ka lengolo.
Yeah, Shalakalmolo. So you will take a
Eh.
letter via the book to your girlfriend and pretend as if they are borrowing a book, and then page 45. They know what is in page 45. That's
Ke love letter. What do you think? Can
yeah.
we,
How the page 45? What's about page 45? Take a love letter. You know.
Yeah. I know le
So
player man
yeah.
of Sechaba, eh?
So I started there
Mm.
dating, then went to matric. After matric, I went to university. And
Mm.
at Vets, you will have you would have your all of us being together now. There was no separation.
Mm.
And
Mm.
university, it's basically I was staying at rest, so I would stay with everybody else at rest. Would go to the class with everybody else, and that's where you meet people differently. You start then experiencing life differently because you are no longer blind people alone there.
Mm.
You've got your sighted guys, and then
Yeah, le mix Chanje.
a
There's no
mixture.
discrimination. Yes.
Yeah, then you get to appreciate the fact that certain things you'll have to do them in a particular way.
Mm. Mm. And then, why are we still so consecutive about openly talking about romantic relationships with disabled people?
Mm. Why are we still so you are basically asking why are we still
Why are we still consecutive?
mm. No, look, i
Conservative. I
think
mean,
i think i think what is happening also, Aka, is that most able-bodied people have this thing that, as a blind person or as people with disabilities, we don't date. So we are either have that
so ba
fear,
re le bolawa ke letswai.
yeah, ba re bolawa ke letswai. And then there are those that are saying, hey, this one's baratabasadi.
Yeah.
You'd have two
Hey,
perspectives. You've
no.
got a perspective,
Are you still
Erin.
here, Absisha?
Yes,
Okay.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was saying you have two perspectives, ne?
Mm-hmm.
Where, for example, you have people who assume, hey, this one's baratabasadi or baratabanna.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the
Mm. Where is
perspective,
that coming
Erin.
from?
No, I guess, when we grew up, especially as blind people, our only way of dealing with women or people is to touch.
Ah, ga le le tshwara matswele.
Yeah, so you will have a situation whereby people would assume her, oh, this one's Barata Tacha. Oh, yeah, no, they're like this. Therefore, Barata
Mm,
Basadi. But sometimes the whole issue of
mm,
touching when I was Makabelo, it's really because some people want to feel, or who am I talking to, and so forth and so forth.
mm. So I have a comment here from Rachel. Should they be called disabled? I feel the word has a negative connotation to it, but so far they are differently abled. And this is what we were talking about between myself and you in the inbox when I said on the other side of ability and you laughed at me. But so Reggie is asking, is it okay to call you disabled? Should we not say something else? Is it offensive to say disabled?
Look, the politically correct word is people with disabilities. That is the politically correct word.
Oh, okay, people with
Yes,
disabilities,
yes.
not
If
disabled. Oh,
no,
okay.
but I mean, I think we are individuals. If you call me a disabled person, I wouldn't mind. But the politically correct word, as I'm saying, it's people
Mm,
with disabilities. Because as I said to you, we are people first,
yes.
and then disabilities come after.
After.
Yes.
Okay, no, I get that. So yes, you
Mm.
were saying that the very essence of it, we're so conservative. It's because we say batubab, and I'm not just talking about blind people, but disabled people in general. So the perception is
Mm.
that they are baratabasadi or banna, and what's the other one?
The other one, and maybe on the other side of the whole story, is that people are they fear hating us, and they say, okay, we don't want to talk about disabled people or people with disabilities dating because we are going to offend them.
Mm,
No, these people cannot date. Who's going to date them?
mm.
You know,
But let me tell
there's
you,
that thing.
yeah,
Mm,
let me tell you from my personal perspective, I
mm,
I once dated someone, right?
mm.
Uh Nali Sharp and everything. Then he was shot or something, and then Abako wheelchair. One of the
Yes.
concerns that I had, obviously this happened when we were not together, but one of the concerns, because we still maintain friendship and everything, one of the concerns was, would I have the patience to take care of them? And the assumption is that they need to be taken care of. Is that correct? Can they
No,
not
yeah,
navigate on their own? And
yes. You see, Oswaka, this is the thing. As you said, the question you ask yourself, can I be able to take care of them? But the truth is, people with disabilities don't need to be taken care of. People with disabilities don't need to be pitied on.
mm,
People with
with or
disabilities,
without us, you are continuing, you are living.
exactly, we need to be understood.
Mm,
That's the most important thing. We need to be understood. You need to understand that, for example, the way you do something, it's different from the way I would do it. But nonetheless, we are going to achieve the same goal.
mm,
For example, I use technology in order for me to be able to talk to you right now, but I use a screen reader.
yeah.
Whereas you rely on seeing the screen, but ultimately what happens, we achieve the same goal.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
So,
yes, yes,
yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
So, I was saying,
continue.
like, did you, I mean, did you have a full life experience? Did you go, okay, I don't think you went clubbing. Did you go clubbing that day?
No, I do,
Uh,
I do, I did.
you went clubbing, you did all of that.
Your club Gemini, and when I was very young, Koma
Yes,
Bopane, Ko Pretoria,
yes, yes.
your club LS, Ko Sunnyside, I went to those places.
Yes, at home. You've been all
Uh,
over.
yeah, I did go clubbing. I used to have a friend. May his soul rest in peace. He used to take me to clubs as well. He passed on got 2016.
Mm,
We used to go together, go to club. And when you go clubbing, it's a question of, especially as a blind person, you need to be able to have someone that you trust.
you rely on, yeah. There's a lot that can
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. So that guy I used to go with, go what club, the different clubs because I trusted him. But also what club Gemini. And when I was at varsity, we used to have a body all rest picnic.
Mm,
And then when we go there, we'd go to your different clubs, Club Gemini, and what, all those other places.
Mm.
Mm.
Would you have said, yeah, I remember Lina, I met you actually, Kole, Pule, I know you're very social. I think Neliko Club Ne, was it Club Ne where I met you? Where were we?
Yeah, I
I
can't
can't
remember very
remember,
well,
but
but yeah.
yeah, but it was one of those social events, and I got the grasp of you are a fully sociable person. And that for me was different because you think maybe people with disability are stuck at home and not can't here you are a go to club what, and showing that you're fully capable of being integrated into our normal everyday life.
No, we
So
do
would you
go to
say dating
clubs.
for yeah, no, I definitely now I know that. Would you say dating with disability is easier for women or men?
I'll be
Is
honest
it
with you,
easier for disabled women or is it easier for disabled men?
man. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My experience is that for disabled men, it's quite easier. Maybe as men because we are seen as providers. So we are in a way a better position to can say this is who we are looking for.
Mm.
So from that experience, I think as men, it's easier for us to make choices to say, oh, this is what I'm looking for. And maybe because of, especially, as men having the financial muscle, and I guess all men, besides people with
Oh,
disabilities,
yes.
no, honestly, the whole
Chele.
issue of, I'm sorry, but that's the reality.
What day do I turn up to show? Chele, that plays a role.
Mm.
So it's much easier for men than it is for women. I think I'd also agree with that. I think
No,
it's
it,
much,
it,
but not
it,
just
it
on the
is.
basis of money, I would say on the basis of men tend to be more masculine and they can easily take care of themselves
Hmm.
than women. Even given the same circumstance, I think you would do better as a man physically, than you would as a woman. Would you agree with that?
I fully agree, Oswaka, because as you're saying, for men, it's easy for us to approach women. We approach them masculine as we are, and then we talk to them. And I guess, as you're saying, we are more capable of taking care of ourselves. But also, the whole issue, people are not going to be asking you questions to say, hey, how are you going to do this as a female? Because for females, people start asking questions for, "Eish, o tlo pheya jwang? How is she going to do this and that and that?" People,
Can take care of the child.
that homely aspect. Yeah.
Mm. No, it's fair enough. Would you
Mm.
say, I mean, you mentioned, Hore, when you were introducing yourself, you mentioned the level of education that you got. And I think one of the myths, if not the assumptions that we have, Hore, halabala, maybe then you cannot generate an income. And, through this level of education that you have, you've also proven, Hore, you can generate an income as a person with disability.
That's the thing, Auswaka. A lot of people assume, Hore, we cannot, and the thing is, I guess, as a person with a disability, if you've got an advantage of academics behind you, you'll probably get to attract people. While Hore, in a way, you can connect better with them, from an academic perspective, but also in terms of sharing the commonalities, in terms of your discussions and all that kind of stuff.
Mm, mm.
Hangata, people with disabilities, by the we are less, they are less fortunate, in terms of the studies. I mean, most of them depend at the
For
disability
the
grant,
grant, yes, yes.
and then most of them find themselves in a situation whereby, okay, the data mamang because this person, well, one tusa, but then happens the question, oh, this guy on a disability grant, therefore I'm benefiting. There's always that trade off. I'm sorry, but there's always
Yeah,
that trade off.
yeah, yeah, I guess
Whereby
so.
motho wa ko kasi ngwanyana ko kasi would say, oh yeah, ke tseba this guy who disabled, ke tlo mo thusa le nna o tlo nthusa.
Mm. And
But
it's
I
almost like
guess
the dating becomes like a favor thing. You know, I'm doing this for you, and it's not so much about it saying, you know what, Shabazz is such a nice guy. I've actually fallen in love. It takes time to get there. Would you say that?
it does, Auswaka. It does take time because basically, as you are saying, it's a question of, people will have to really love you for who you are. But I guess as a person with a disability, and I guess not only people with disabilities, but people in general, we
Hmm.
we find ourselves in a situation whereby people love us for what we have, for what we can provide, rather than what really who we are. I mean, the same with
Hmm.
able-bodied people. You understand?
Yeah. And with this
Mm.
Chaba, this show is basically obviously about black men talking about their backgrounds and experiences and so forth. Would you say that your challenges as a black man, on top of that, a black man living with disabilities, are the same as those of an abled man?
You see, as a black man, also, as you are saying, you're quite right. I mean, I'm coming from a family in Nako High whereby, I guess my mom had to learn to respect my decisions. My
Mm,
family being my uncles and so forth. Because, as a person with a disability, black families tend to be very protective to say, oh, yeah, we don't want our child at date element also because they may
ano kgona mo hlokomela, ano eng, you know?
or they will take advantage of our child.
Mm, mm,
So I guess it comes with that. But I think now I was lucky because my family had to respect my decisions, whereby I brought a lady at home and said, "This is the lady that I'm dating."
mm.
And of course, my mom would say, "O data wanyana koso wetu," you know.
O na le ngwanana ko Soweto.
You understand what I'm saying? Those are the kind of
Mm,
things that would come back. But I had to tell my mom and say, "Hey, Auswaka, mme wa ka, ke understand ke motho wa Soweto, ke re dula ko Vale, but hey, this is who I love. And if she brings problems, I'll deal with her."
mm.
And guess what? I mean, that was 2006 when I brought her at home. This is 2020. We are still together with a lovely lady.
Yeah. So how did you pluck up the courage to go to her?
No, we met, I guess at a particular function, and then she came to me, wanted to know who I am, and yeah,
Don't charm me, basically.
I guess it was more out of charm, but also because she was looking at this blind guy who was quiet. And then
Yeah.
we got to talk, exchanged numbers, and then we decided, no, man, let's get each other, know each other better. And I think, what impressed her about me is the
Mm.
fact that I could write her an SMS at that time. And she was saying, no, but how did you write me an SMS? Because you are blind.
Yeah.
And,
So
we had those old Nokias at that time where it was
3310.
the 3310 and they could talk to you. Then another voice, speech, and all that, irrespective of the SMS story.
Yeah. We've got
So,
a
yeah,
comment. We've got a comment Abdi as Chaba from Semi Are. Adversity, I met a blind adversity, what? I met a blind guy, funny and wise. Oh, I met a blind, funny and wise blind guy. Are just as that guy would leave you in stitches and forget he's blind. You'd feel sorry or pity for him because of how he carried or you'd never feel
wouldn't.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd never feel sorry or pity for him because of how he carried himself around people. Would you say that it's important to to affirm your independence as a person living with disability or
Also, what I would say is you need to be yourself as a person with a disability.
mm,
For me, affirming yourself as a person because you are trying to be different, it wouldn't make sense. Be yourself. If
mm,
if
mm,
if if you are that shy person, be a shy person. Let it be not because of your disability. Let it be
mm,
because you are shy. If you are
mm,
capable of expressing yourself in such a way that you're good at it, be like that.
mm.
So
What is
yeah.
yeah, sorry?
You were saying what?
Once I tend to rush you, ask you Sabtisha, but we've got a lot of time, so don't let me rush you. Take your time. Talk to me.
Yes, I was saying basically be yourself as a person with a disability and
Mm-hmm.
be able to express yourself if you can. I mean, if you are shy, you are shy. It shouldn't be because of a disability, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess people will always judge you, and some people will judge you because you are disabled and say, "Oh yeah, maybe this is when I fail because you are a person with a disability or you are this." But the reality is, there are able-bodied people who are also dirty. You know,
Hey. Mm,
there are
Kuzwala.
able-bodied people by if I have to put it so to that way, people
Bakuhlaswa
who are,
lembatho abona.
you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
And you're also a parent. How do you navigate that? How do you navigate being a parent with disability? What was the conversation with the kids growing up? How did you manage being a father, an active father? Like, how did you do it? Was it challenging or it was just a normal
It is still challenging.
fathering? Yes.
It is still challenging. Hotazo is here. He knows my boy. I shout at him. We fight. We fight. I sit him down sometimes, try and make him understand how, you know what, there are certain things that are wrong. Sometimes he would go out of his way to defy me. But, it's always a challenge. And he knows that I'm the dad, I'm the father,
Mm,
and he respects me as the father, and sometimes we would disagree on certain things. Sometimes
mm,
I would pull back and let him do make his own mistakes.
mm. In your own experience, Abdis Chaba, how would you say being a disabled person, dating an able person, how does it complicate a relationship with all levels of disability? I mean, it could be a wheelchair or you living with some, different disabilities. How does it complicate a relationship? Because also I feel like saying where there's no difference is also a lie, because there is, isn't it?
No, there is also in fact, for my wife, it had to be getting used to. She has to get used to me. You know, she would, at the beginning of our relationship, I would talk to her, "O tla dumela ka hloho," she would not saying things, and she would forget to, hey, by the way, I've got this blind person.
Yes, yes.
Those are some of the complications. Sometimes it's a question of, maybe I would be careless with things, maybe, whereby I would be putting things at the wrong place. And she said, "No, but Shaba, no, no, you can't be putting those things there. It's wrong."
Mm,
And I guess I have to understand her. This is how she would want things done. Sometimes she would tell me, "Hey, I'm looking for she would tell me, for example, go and look for something at a particular place." And I would say, "Go guy." And they say, "Koka Rakeng on top there." I said, "No, but no, there are so many tops here. Raka. Where exactly?" And then she'd have to explain, "Oh, by the way, at the top left of the cupboard or guy.
uh, but
So
you learn.
there are complications. I mean, we have a car. She drives the car sometimes. Naliana, we would be in a car, and then she would say something, and I would say, "Okay, what did you say?" And then she said, "Oh, sorry, by the way. Because
Mm,
it's a question of, for example, when she sees someone cuts in our road, maybe something in a
mm,
lane, somebody is cutting us, or getting in front of us, and then I go, "Yeah, ma. She
yeah.
would say all those things, and then she, because she knows that I'm blind, and I said, "Okay, what did she do?" And then she said, "Okay, ni plarona, she cut in front of us, or she took a wrong lane, or whatever.
Mm, mm.
So those
So
are
now
some.
some of the challenges, and then technology wise, how is it? Does everyone in the house have their own technology? I mean, like, I'm assuming, how do you help the kids? Maybe got homework, or how do you, or when you've got your own screen that, like, how does it work?
Eh, my boy, luckily for now, at least he's old enough. What normally I would do, I would share with him. For example, recently I was sharing with him the YouTube channel like SABC.
Mm,
To
mm,
say this is what you can go through. look at it. But normally, when we are sitting together, which we used to do earlier while he was still young or primary. I mean, now he's in a high school, so most of the time he would really. I would share with him, the documents or whatever that is on, and then he is able to read for himself. For himself,
mm, mm,
But when he was young, normally because the screen as well, if I'm navigating on the screen, he's also capable of seeing what I'm navigating on.
mm,
So it's easier that way. It was easier that way. But nowadays, normally he would ask me questions when he doesn't understand something on the screen. And then he would say to me, okay, it's on page what and what, or whichever page it is. Then we are capable of going through together while it's on his screen and I'm on my screen. My screen will
mm.
be reading out loud and I say, oh, this is what it's saying on the screen,
Yeah,
Mm.
interesting. Would you say that technology is ready to accommodate all kinds of disability now?
Technology is ready, Auswaka. It's
Or is
up to
the
us.
challenges? Or is it for
Look,
those that are well off? I mean, what are some of the challenges that a typical blind person would experience? Okokasi, for example. Um,
mm, look. I think for okay, let's talk about Motokokasi in terms of the phones that are around.
mm,
Normally, your Samsungs, your A1 or A whatever those phones, didn't tell Hori, the ones that are using Android, they are
yeah,
affordable
okay.
and they do have technology. It's a question of people understanding that type of technology. I mean, people that are using Android, for example, they've got what we call talkback on their screens.
Mm,
The
mm,
talkback setting, I think you go under accessibility settings, accessibility, and you click it. And most of the phones that are using Android, and most of the Android phones, I mean, are very much accessible and are cheaper. I mean, you can get them for about 1,000. You can get them for about 800 rand, depending as to the type of phone and the model that you have.
mm,
But the reality is, the higher the phones and the higher the models, the better the technology.
mm,
I
mm.
mean, I'm lucky. I'm using an iPhone, which is comes preloaded with the software, what you call voice over. You can
Oh,
activate it.
okay.
Anyone that's using an iPhone can activate a voice over,
Mm,
and voice over works very well with your native apps, what you call iOS.
okay.
Yeah, it works very well with your native apps, the iOS. It works well with your WhatsApp, works well with your
Mm,
Facebook, it works well with your Google Maps and all those kind of things. So, look, it is there. It's accessible, especially on the phones. It's a question of someone that will be able to help you because unfortunately, Barking, uh, technology is still in English. Hi, we got Sesotho.
Ai hlalose hore
Eng
tobetsa
ke
mona.
eng? Wa e bona ntho eo?
Reggie, all phones now have read back and voice command, which is what you're talking about now, I suppose. That's
Exactly.
good. Mm. And then in terms of uh, in terms of relationships and intimacy, there obviously are there challenges there that people
Okay.
would expect to have.
Okay. Would you wanna hold on for a while so that I move away from here? Is it fine?
Yes, yes. Go,
I'm
Masaka
just
time. No, it's fine. I'll buy us time. So, guys, the conversation is going on level. So now we are going to discuss in privacy. I can
right. Are we ready to
Hey,
talk?
thank you for moving. Yes, hey, I was scared to ask questions. Once I could go to a food work, I'm like, oh,
I moved. Now I'm in the bedroom.
yay! Now we can start the topic of the day. I was wait. Yes. So, I mean, in terms of intimacy, we have fears and we have questions Abdishaba, when we have to date the ones who are disabled, the people living with disability. For example, if somebody
Mm.
approach her, the first thing that I would think is, Ish, am I even gonna enjoy having sex with him? Is he gonna know what to do? Were these some of the questions that you were asked, and what are the challenges when it comes to intimacy?
Also, in terms of the intimacy, like I said, I have a sighted lady,
Mm,
and I must say I was lucky because the first time we met, I managed to hit it off with her,
mm,
and we got the ball rolling, and uh, we still enjoy each other. It's 14 years. Nali and I relate together. We got married in 2012, but we started dating in 2006.
mm,
So I must say we hit it off very, very, very well, Nali and I, and we are still rolling it on, And yes,
yeah.
Auswaka, it's a question of knowing, communicating, because when it comes to intimacy, it's a question of you being able to know where to touch with your lady, being
Mm,
able to know what to do with her, and her also being able to guide you and say, hey, this is how we do it, this is
mm,
how I
mm.
want you to do it to me.
Mm, mm. What are some of the conversations you used to have, Limajita, especially the ones who were in the same? I mean, you've mentioned how you went to a school where for people who are living with disability. What are some of the conversations that were going on, especially sexual conversations? Did they mention the challenges? Did they mention like what was, because yours, I think yours is because I'm thinking, oh wait, now you are blind, so it's
Mm.
look, you can still get away with a lot because you use your hands a lot. You don't need your eyes technically in the bedroom,
Mm. Mm.
But what about those ones that had other forms of disability? What are some of the challenges? Nebaring.
Yeah, look, I mean, from the experience here, some of the guys that I interacted with, guys on wheelchairs and so forth,
Mm,
it and getting it. Some of the guys have challenges. I mean, remember you've got guys by Lahore, for example, they are disabled from the waist downwards.
mm, mm,
Now this type of guys, some of them they've got challenges because the person cannot move his waist.
But you can still get an erection.
They do get an erection, and it's a question of the lady having to come on top and doing what they have to do.
Oh, mm,
It's a question of the lady will have to be able to come on top of the guy and make the guy I'm a touch I'm a feel. There's a whole lot of things that people can do. The muffing part of it, for example.
mm, mm.
The guy will have to be able to muff. The lady will be have to be able to come to be willing
Navigate her
to
body around.
navigate the body around. At least say
Mm.
her body on top
Her
of the
body to
guy's
the
face,
face. Yes, yes.
so that the guy
Mm,
will be able to bath.
mm,
And it's a question of learning the skills because indeed, unfortunately, Majita, we always have this muscular thing of saying, I'm a man, I can make my woman come. But it's a question
mm,
of if, for example, you are not able to do it via the erection, how then do you do it? You learn the
mm,
skills of muffing so that you can make a lady come, you know?
mm. Semi Are, your voice has changed now that you're talking about sex. What's hey, Are?
Semi
Are
out of
fedile goed.
order.
Semi is out of order. Are ke fedile goed.
I can't
Oh,
get
bon,
any
wa
range.
nyonyoba. Wa nyonyoba ya kamre. But and then Abdisha, what are some of the the myths about people living with disability and sex? Obviously, is that they can't. What are some of the myths like you know,
I
putwang
think
e
I,
maka ka
th- I
lona?
yeah, I think there are many myths. One of the myths is that, as I said earlier on, blind people love sex.
Mm,
And especially for us as blind people, a lot of people assume, yeah, that guy will make you calm. He knows what he's doing. But guys, the reality is, as blind people, we are human beings. You know,
Mm,
I always say, as blind people, we are human beings. As human beings, we can experience, for example, diabetes. You know,
mm,
it doesn't mean just because I'm blind, I'm a human, I'm a superhuman. It might happen that I experience diabetes, and if that happens, we need to be able to know what to do.
mm. Especially with
Mm.
age, I assume,
With age, yeah,
things
because with
change with
age,
age.
yeah,
You're no longer 20.
with age, Auswaka, I mean, as you get older, it might happen. I mean, nah, I'm still lucky. I'm over 45 years. I'm actually 47 years to be precise. And I'm still hitting it off. But, God forbid it happens for I lose my sexual capacity. I've spoken to my woman and we've spoken about it to say, Mema Taunyane, this is what we will do. Are we still on? Oh, yeah, the line has gone bad now, eh? Mema Mtau?
Oh no, I lost up this Chava, guys. Oh, this poor network. Just when the conversation was getting heated. Hey, 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 no, it's better. I hope he comes back. Let's just give him because we still had about 16 minutes with him. So let's just hope he comes back. But if he doesn't, well, it was a nice conversation. Anyway, I appreciate Hore Utsamailanya. Hey, he's back. Up this Chava. Up this Chava, you're back. I'm so happy.
And
It's on my side. My network, I swapped it around.
oh yeah,
I'm
because
so sorry. What are we talking about?
okay, we were talking about the issue of intimacy
Yes,
and I guess how people see us and the myths around.
yes. Oh no, Kiahopo this Chaba. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about how age
Yes,
affects
yes.
sexual performance as well. Because now you've moved from being a boy to a man and it happens like with everyone else.
And I was saying basically that it happens to everyone. As blind people, as people with disabilities, we also
Mm,
experience problems, also experience health problems. So, hello?
mm, mm. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So I was saying we also experience health problems and all that kind of stuff. So, your life, I mean, I was
Ke
saying,
life.
you know, and I was saying, luckily with me, I'm 47 years, by the way, ne?
Mm,
And with my woman, we still hitting it okay. We're still okay. We're fine. But we did talk about it. Or was like, my love, should anything happen, uh, we will go to seek medical help. I mean, if something
mm.
happens to me, I'm ready. I'm willing to go for medical help.
And
Lucky, I
seek
mean, medical
alternatives.
assist. Yes.
I think, yeah, I was about to say, Hore, as well. Uh, People with disabilities, do they also play around with toys? Do you guys get adventurous? These sharply handcuffs?
Nah, not really. We haven't gone that much. With all. But I
Mm.
know that there are people who do that.
No,
But
that was a silly
Nalemotwak,
question. Wait,
yeah.
Please, Chava, I didn't expect you to answer it. That was just a silly question. Chava, and what I want to know is, does porn accommodate people with disability? And and how do you enjoy it? Because when how born, do you not do you just is it just voice?
For now, it's about the voice. The voice, basically, and those ooh sounds that women are doing, and the men, Those are the
Yes.
sounds
Then
that
you
that
guess
that
what's alive.
yeah. Then but I know there's a website called Pornhub. You know, the
Yes, yes,
Pornhub
Pornhub.
website.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, Pornhub apparently does have the what you call audio descriptions. You know,
Oh yeah. Oh no, there's also audible books, that you can read for arousal that literally say a story, describe it from A to Z. Ne?
if even with the text, on porn site you'd have your text, what you call text described stories.
Mm,
So for that, as a blind person, but like I'm saying, with the technology, there's audio descriptions. Even with the movies, for example, most of the movies nowadays they've got audio descriptions. I mean, if you
mm.
are, I normally get to rent the movies from the App Store. You know what you call the Apple App Store, the Apple TV.
Yes, yes.
So with the Apple TV, they tell you if the movie has got an audio description. And if you want
Mm,
an audio description, you can just click on that and it explains to you all the scenes that are happening.
mm, mm,
I think actually one of the recent movies, there's an there's an Apple movie that came out very recently when Apple TV was launching, and that movie is all about blind people. Those people who turned blind, and then they were all left blind in the village, and then something happened to them. So that movie also has got audio descriptions.
mm. Okay, that's interesting. I'll check it out. Uiteko kai Coco.
It's an
Where do
Apple
we find it?
TV. Apple TV.
Apple TV. Oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
also then issues of infidelity. Do you guys also experience that? Leato le ikutswa le lona, just come by or lona le shebile medi, shebile like
O batla ho mpolaisa, ne?
no, no, not you. I'm saying batho ba bang. Re bua ka batho ba
Yeah,
bang
okay.
gore
Look, I
wena
mean,
ke a
blind
tseba o
people,
etse
people with disabilities, we like I said, we are human beings. We go out, you know. You have friends telling you that, hey, what's that? Run, kai, and so forth when you chat le majita.
mm,
So yeah, we people with disabilities, we do that. The same with women, the same with
mm,
men. I mean, people go out when you get a nice lady with a nice voice, especially a person with a blind person like me, because for most of us blind people,
mm.
what attracts us to women is their voices. Firstly,
Is it? What can you
it
tell
does.
from listening to my voice? Can you describe me from just listening to my voice?
I may not have a physical description of you, but it is that kind of voice that says, "Oh, I wanna hug this lady. I wanna give her a hug and feel how she feels." That in
Mm,
and of its own makes you wanna. I don't know if you know. There's a song Kas Barke Lerato Ka Magala. It's sung
eh.
by a guy called Johnny Makhadi. By the way, I'm revealing my age. But
Hey,
basically,
yeah, I
if,
know.
even on the voice, when you're speaking to someone on the voice, think about it where, for example, you are talking to someone on a call center
Mm,
or wherever, you form a picture of that person to say, oh, this lady is likely to be maybe a slender lady, depending on
mm,
Rata ing, of course,
mm,
or this lady is likely to be a lady opakileng,
mm,
from her voice and all that kind of stuff.
mm.
So the voice is the first thing, but also the manner in which someone talks to you, Auswaka. You
Yes,
you find,
maitseho.
yeah, because the person might have a sweet voice, but then the way they approach you, you might find out, this person,
What ella?
what
Mm,
ella wa shouta, is this type of a shouting person, or then it may turn you off or turn you on, those kind of things.
mm, mm. So, I mean, lastly, how do we integrate? How do we get to a point where really haina taba hore motho is living with disability or not? Do you ever think we will get there? Do you ever think society will just be accommodative of everyone? Ko re ko di-mall-eng, ko wherever, everyone can just go around and it doesn't matter. Do you see that future? What do you think the future looks like in terms of integrating people living with disabilities and those that are not living with disabilities?
Okay. This is my passion, but I'm not going to go on a lot, Kayon. When it comes to reasonable accommodation for people with disabilities,
Mm,
firstly, out of the dating game, let's not even talk about the dating game. Out of the dating game, one assumes that government and private sectors, your shops and your malls will do a lot. One hopes that they will do a lot to accommodate people with disabilities. I mean, the simplest example, we were talking with someone to say, Kodi Moling, ne?
mm,
You see all these ramps that you have there on the mosque. Those
mm.
ramps, they were not meant for wheelchairs. They were meant to make life easy for the trolley to
Yeah.
walk around. But inadvertently, it happens then, Hore, people with wheelchairs use those malls. So,
Oh.
yes, one hopes that when, for example, we do all this buildings and all this stuffs, we accommodate people with disabilities. I mean, you get to, for example, other malls where you've got the lifts that are talking. When you press, for example, and maybe some people don't even notice, but you've
Mm,
got the lift. In fact, one of the hotels that I went to recently because I attended the conference is I think the Blue Downs or something, the one in
mm,
Santon. There, they have a lift which's got the voice and braille. When you go in there, the left will tell you that you are
mm,
on floor 2, going down, or floor
mm,
3, going up
mm,
or down. That is meant to accommodate blind people, for example.
mm.
But maybe going back to your question to say, will we ever get to a point where people stop differentiating? No. My view is no.
Mm,
People in their nature, we are discriminator. We discriminate.
mm. Are people living with disabilities also able to discriminate? Le lona le re discriminate. O ga ai wena wa bona. Oh.
Yeah, there are people with disabilities who choose not to date able-bodied people because, well, either because of experience, they say, "Nah, I'm not gonna date an able-bodied person." There are
Mm,
people like that. There are people with disabilities who even discriminate amongst people with disabilities themselves.
mm,
I for one, I'm thinking, will I be able to date a person on a wheelchair? I don't know. I don't
I can
know.
they'll be your eyes, you'll be their feet. How romantic enough this Sechaba.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
whether will I be able to date a person also with the hard of hearing.
Mm,
I don't
mm,
know. I wonder if that will be possible. So
mm.
all that I'm saying, it's whenever you think of dating, whenever
Hello?
hi, can you hear me? Memam Taung, Memam Taung, I've lost you again. I don't know what's happening, but I'm here. Memam Taung.
I know, man. Technology is failing us. It's failing. I'm just having technology wrong, man. I'm here. I'm just shower. Oh no, I think we've also it's okay. No, it's okay. Nako ya rona ne se e fedile anyway. Yes, I can hear you. No, no, network air betela today. But I was just saying how interesting it was to have this conversation. You've just made blindness seems so sexy, so interesting.
No, ke a leboha mme Mamtau,
Ke
but I
kopa
think
mpatlele o mo e blind ke kgathetse ke batho ba e ka re
I,
mofuthu o mo.
Mamela, I told you as blind people we can be troublesome, ne?
Eh.
So don't even think, or just because you've got a blind guy, things are gonna be easy. Me and my wife, we disagree.
Mm,
We disagree a lot sometimes, but you learn to accept the fact that it's not because you are blind, it's because
yeah,
you don't agree on certain things.
yeah.
We don't agree on financial issues sometimes,
Mm,
we don't agree on certain household issues. I mean, she would want to do something, Montung, and sometimes we'd fight about it. Sometimes we
mm.
won't agree. And there will be things that I will leave to her. I mean, how it looks like, I would say, baby, what's the
Color,
thing? The color, how you want this is your business, this is your domain. But when it comes to a particular type of TV, I will make a choice, and we're not gonna choose a
I wish
particular
every
TV.
TV have this power.
No, 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 TV. No, no, can share a TV. Can share a TV, but we decide to how about a smart TV? I'll be the man of the house because this is the type of smart TV that we're looking for.
No, this technology
Hey,
is just
never, never,
messing up
never.
my day, man. It's just messing up my day.
Yes, ask keys. But I do watch TV.
And say goodbye. Yes, hey, I'm just Chava. I am sorry, technology. So let's just call it a day for today. But it was so interesting conversating with you. I think I really thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I don't know. So I think everyone else did as well, judging from the comments. But
No,
thank you so much for
I
your
really
time.
appreciate Auswaka.
Thank you so much. I think we are ready to just have these kind of conversations and just open up ourselves a bit more to to the struggles, but the everyday experiences that we would usually not open ourselves up to.
Exactly. And I think the most important thing, as I said, is that blind people, or people with disabilities are firstly people. We make
Mm,
mistakes, we mess up, and
mm,
deal with us as human beings first before you can even deal with us
yes.
as our disability.
Mm,
And I
mm,
always say when you enter in a relationship with a person with a disability, let it be not out of empathy, let it be not out of sympathy, let it be because you love that person.
mm.
Let it be
That's true.
because you love the person. And if it happens, love runs out and maybe issues come up, don't feel bad about it. It
Yeah.
happens. Don't feel bad about the fact that "Ish, ke lahla a blind person, I'm leaving a person with, because then you will be staying because out of pity. And for me,
Yes.
I've always told my wife to say, baby, I'm glad and now we're doing this. It's not because you feel pity out of me. We shout at each other, we fight with each other, we do all sorts
Mm,
of things with each other. We disagree and so forth and so forth, you know. But I do watch TV, Aus Makabelo. As I said earlier on, I watch TV. My favorite soap is The River, even though it's gone. Ah,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So on the basis of it all, woo, to be human to each other before anything else, before I
Be
can worry
human.
about your blindness, be human
Mm,
towards you. The way I would approach Abuti
ex-
Mangma, I would approach Abuti Chab.
exactly, Auswaka.
I hear you. This was so much fun, Kelebo Abuti Chab. Where do people find you?
Um, I'm not a celebrity, but I've got Facebook. Sechaba Taunyane, it's my Facebook. I'm at Twitter at Taunyane S, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Skype. I forgot my Skype name, but I do go to Skype. I think it's Sechaba Taunyane.
Yes.
I'm also, yeah,
On
I think basically
Facebook.
that.
You're also on
Facebook.
Facebook.
I also connect with people via Zoom. If people want to send me Zoom meetings, we talk on Zoom. There are conferences, you know, people can send me those. I connect via Zoom and all those kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I have this Shaba. Sorry, you're such a sport, man. Thank you so much. You've made my day. Enjoy
Thank you,
the rest of your
Auswaka.
afternoon.
Kyalewa Auswaka. Have a
All
nice
right,
time.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.